So next, also I'm on a short time, so let's welcome Alejandro to basically talk a little bit about circular devices and PuzzlePhone and tell us what that is.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm very pleased to find that there is a lot of connecting points with the previous presenters. My name is Alejandro Santacreu, and I am the CEO and the founder of Secular Devices OU, the Finnish company behind the PuzzlePhone. I'm also a Spaniard, and I moved into Finland 5 years ago with my Spanish wife. So, gentle people, meet Angie, meet these gentle people. And well, after 5 years, life happened, and we got 2 kids. They were both born at Jovi Hospital. Gentle people, meet Sofia and Nadia. Nadia was born 2 months ago. Nadia and Sofia, meet these gentle people. They are the main reason why I do what I do, which is basically trying to leave the place in a better shape than I found it for them. So that the expertise is about electronic product development and businesses. I'm trying to have a positive impact on the industry I know the best. It's also true that this history also began in 2013 with Apple's refusal to fix my iPhone 4 for the home button, and that really pissed me off because I realized that, well, it's just a $1 button. It's a hell of an expensive device, but as a businessman I realized that you don't have to blame the designer, you don't have to blame the engineer. It's actually the business model behind it. It's a linear business model which is driving design and engineering brief that makes them to take this decision to produce not so much serviceable devices. So we keep it simple. Our proposal is just 3 pieces. You have the brain with most of the electronics that you can replace if you need a faster one. And you have the spine with that holds the screen. You can replace it by yourself in less than 20 seconds, and you don't need to give your data to an anonymous data repair service. And you have the heart, which holds the battery, and you can replace it if it's exhausted, which it wasn't such a new thing 5 or 10 years ago, but now it is. So, by taking these design decisions, we are enabling automatically 3 parallel revenue streams with one solution. It's basically you are creating a platform and you can run old-fashioned sales. You can also help others to embrace your platform, or you can just leave your blueprint for licensing. So this is one of the collaterals of embracing a circular business model. It happens in other verticals as well. It's basically because you're making it by design open. You literally can take it apart and you can put it back together. So in the process, you can put anything, any piece of technology or your brand on top of it. And the way you are doing this, it's quite feasible. We are not messing with the supply chain. We can make an analogy with the cargo and the shipping industry. So we are basically producing this standardized container, which changed your industry for good around 100 years ago. We are creating a standardized box, which is also a recurring word for the European Commission advices, try to standardize things with proper incentives. As a result, anyone deploying their technology, like maybe the European Space Agency creating a satellite modular phone, it will face dramatically faster and cheaper processes during the R&D and the manufacturing. But the important bit is that after you produce it, you keep saving money because you're joining a standardized procurement platform. You are consolidating the tail of the market of those fragmented devices into one single solution, and this is what we are putting and providing a feasible transition between linear into circular. So what happens with your old models? Maybe you don't need to throw it away. Maybe your old brain is good enough for playing a movie in your TV. Now I'm stealing a little bit the term from Alexander Lemille, who coined the 2.0 version of the circular economy. Another impact of doing the things this way, because we are doing almost all of it in Europe, is that these platforms, they create momentum that support wealth and tax creation in the European region. We are supporting know-how retention, so nobody has to leave to San Diego or Far East to do the things. And because we are gaining more visibility on the R&D and the manufacturing, you can promise something more than on privacy. So you don't have to be worried about who is reading your emails, which is an increasingly hot topic, and it's very sensitive when we're talking about data and digitalization. To achieve this, we count with with a nice bunch of European companies. You will probably know some of them because most of them are from Europe, from Finland. And in the team to talk with these suppliers, we have one vested shareholder, one working shareholder, who is expert on all the required topics, so from branding, legal, engineering, mechanical, and so forth. If I try to summarize 5 years of work with a few icons, I would like to, those are some of my favorites. Special mention to our 2 Horizon 2020 research projects. So Standard Smart and Policy, you can Google about them and learn later. Because I think that we are a little bit of a political startup. I was very pleased to be mentioned as a company at Politico a few months ago. And we also made it into a report on smartphones and circular economy commissioned by the Nordic Council of Ministers, where we were mentioned quite a few times. If we summarize how the product has been evolving together with the R&D, we could make it in one picture. What's not in the picture is that this could have happened in less than 18 months instead of 5 years. Main reason being that the funding available was not bad, but very slow. So we have been giving some tough love to the European Commission, like thank you, but no. And we would like to keep doing so. So we are always positive and constructive. So where are we now? Now there is some slides that actually I never show in a public event. This is the first time I do so. This is because we have already submitted some intellectual property, so now we can show it. Don't go through the text, there's too much text, it's just like a geek porn, hopefully nobody underage in the room. This is 4 of the platforms that we were considering. This is how we distribute the components across the 3 pieces, and this has a direct impact on the way it looks, but also in your business model, in your business plan. So it's something that we can go later on during the panel discussion. But it's very intriguing. It's something I love. I think it's one of the most high added value assets we have, is the data-driven decision process to choose which one is the best one to satisfy everybody, the user, the supply chain, the circularity of it, and so forth. So yeah, to decide which one was the winner, we went through some simulations, and then we built some robots that they try to break the thing. So this is like those robots at IKEA that they are open and closing the drawer 1 million times. So this is the same but for our models. And then we came up with a patented solution that it basically allows to transmit the antenna signal through all the models, which is one of the key bottlenecks in this simple solution. And well, it has a series of key selling points. The one I like the most, the only one we have time to highlight at this very short presentation, is that this is not only for smartphones. You can use it to produce modular computers or modular tablets or modular dishwashers if you like. What we talked to the European Commission is that this is what you ask us. This is something you can enforce. You can say that both in the laboratory and on the spreadsheet and talking with our potential clients, this works. So there is no excuses to keep producing e-waste by design. Mind the gap, yes, beyond this point is just another smartphone, but it was a huge undertaking for such a small company like us. And just I'm getting to the end of the presentation. The next thing we are working on with our Grant Horizon 2020 projects is to produce something we call the Puzzle IoT. So this is basically, it's a bit more difficult to explain than a modular phone, and it will look something like this. This is what the developer kit will look like. This is basically the box we all have at home. When your internet goes down and you call to the supplier and have you tried to turn it off and on again, that box. We make it modular, we reuse most of the connections from the modules from the smartphone. We couldn't be doing this pivot if we would be working in a linear mindset, but this ability to pivot while still going towards the modular smartphone is another benefit from this circular mindset. Well, this is interesting for some solutions like mostly related to edge computing, which is a very specific term, but edge computing can be found, for instance, in boats. So this provides hybrid connectivity, and it allows you to prototype with a pre-certified solution, which is a realistic way to do things rather than going with naked Arduinos or Raspberry Pis. Something that works at your boat, and it allows you to digitalize the information and build a solution, if I try to make a case with one of the presenters. It can also be used to provide a solution for digitalization. So we have been discussing previously with one of the attendees that we were entertaining the idea and use this thing as a data meter for collecting the data and allowing empowering the users to save the data. I don't have my toys with me. They are all shipped not by container in a boat. That would be too slow. but by plane. And they arrive safe to Berlin, and now they are going to Vienna. I'm not going to be at this event at Vienna, but if somebody is around, we will be presenting our research paper together with our partners, and actually the Fraunhofer will be making the honors. So that's why in this demonstration there are no toys in the room. And well, thank you so much for your time and for your attention.
Thank you.